not even going to use the timer this time. We just started streaming, so hopefully we'll be coming back here and we'll be back partially into it, and we should be good to go live again from.
Again, take two.
Yeah, it's just been one of those days. I didn't get a chance to go see if it was the aliens, but I don't think it was the aliens.
But don't put it past them.
No, they might be. So, anyways,
They're smarter than us.
yes, 100%. We definitely don't want to shoot them down. I think that was a terrible idea. If you really think there's a fucking life force from somewhere else. But anyway, so Toronto and Georgia's playing. We're going to this game. Albany and the Desert Dogs going to be a great game. This Buffalo Philly game has got huge implications for the East because Halifax losing last week to Rochester. The Wings are
Yes.
still close to Halifax, and it really looked at the beginning of the year like Philadelphia was just, like, what are you doing? They brought Mitch Jones down there, and then now the offense is clicking. Terrace is
Yes.
playing better. Rambo, everybody's it's really stepping up down there.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, last week Rochester did bounce back from that loss from Buffalo. They showed that they're that top caliber team. Uh, but they also showed that Buffalo is the team in the East.
Yeah,
But like I said, Rochester bounced back and they kind of easily handled Halifax. It wasn't a I mean, it was 14-16, but Rochester was in control of that game the whole game.
yeah. It didn't
So
feel. It didn't feel
no,
like it was. I mean,
there
Halifax
were
could have come back, but and with their offense, but they just didn't seem to be clicking perfectly. You know.
no. And the thing is, like I said last week, is control Randy's stats, and they did. They had a chokehold on Randy. I mean, he still got his points, but he not like he was. Cody, where was he? He was Farrell. Was it Farrell? Yes, he had a very good game, but you can't depend on just him to do it
Fennell.
every time.
Yeah, you're talking about
Fennell,
Eric
Fennell,
Fennell. Yeah,
Fennell, Eric Fennell. Sorry,
yeah. He had
sorry, Eric Fennell.
three
If you ever watch
goals.
this, sorry.
Yeah, he had 3 goals. Shanks had 5 assists. I mean, Connor Fields, though, as you saw, he had 8 points. He's
Yes,
showing what he is. Jake Withers, again, he had the penalty, 15 minutes and penalties. It was a
and then he got booted.
yeah, and that I think is going to be, that's a huge thing because he's not just a face-off guy. He plays defense. He gets up the board. You,
Yep.
yeah, it's a huge loss when he's not on the field.
I say I think the only thing about that game is Rochester kind of like in the third and fourth they slacked off a lot and thought they had the game won already, where they should have just kept biting at the neck and kept going and going. Because honestly, like Rochester probably could have put up 20, 22 points, but their defense and even their goalie, they backed off a lot, and he was letting in some easy shots, and they're all outside shots too, which he's usually good at.
Yeah,
And I was like, I don't know if that was a coach's decision or what, but they you got to be in the kill for the whole game.
yeah, that you see it a lot. What happens? So they had a 4-goal lead going into the half, and then in the halftime they started off. Halifax comes out 2 quick goals on Connor Fields.
Yep.
They end up leaving with a 5-goal lead instead, and then in the fourth quarter, like you said, they take their feet off the gas pedal because everybody, they're like, okay, we just need to protect what we got going on. And you saw, I mean, Halifax put up 5 goals like that, but it was a little too little, too late.
Yeah. And they're lucky it was a little too late because if they did that right off the beginning of halftime, it would
Yeah,
have been a lot different game.
yeah, yeah. If they could have kept that momentum going, so I mean, props to Rochester being able to stop it. There's a lot of momentum swings, but I mean, you could see that they really, you know, being able to get Jake Withers fired up like that and get him to take himself out of the game. That's a huge loss to the Thunderbirds.
So so what Halifax did to Hartley, they did to Weathers
Yeah,
that first time they played, and it was a bigger blow to Halifax than it was to
yeah,
Rochester.
yeah.
So I mean that's a good thing I think on Rochester. I mean if you can get under Jake Weathers' skin
Oh
and
yeah,
get him out of the game, and it showed. I mean you start winning faceoffs. You don't have that dominant player like Weathers is. Like I said, like you said, face off, win, play defense, can score, can pass. I mean he's an all around player. He's that grinder, and they lost that, and that was that's exactly what Rochester needed to win that game, and they did it.
yeah. No, that's huge. Like you said, they really, and you see, I mean, Warren Hill, they ended up pulling him. Not his best
Hmm.
game, but this it really so much of this does come down to goalie play.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
like I said, towards that third and fourth quarter, Hartley wasn't on his best. Like he was being lackadaisical. Like he was letting easy shots in that he should not let in.
yeah,
And but like I said, Rochester squeaked out with a win, and I kind of think it makes them a little bit better than what they are. I mean, because Halifax is a great team. I mean, the whole Halifax defense was getting mad every time they scored. Like Tyson Bell was like bitching and complaining, and it was I don't know. It was a good game. It was a very good game, and
well,
it was a very emotional game for both teams.
yeah. We talked about it last week though, is when like last year Halifax came out on fire, and then Halifax
Yes.
didn't play so well. And then this year Rochester had that slump, and you see that they were able to not they didn't do that. They didn't lose it. They aren't yelling at each other. They aren't throwing their hands up in the air complaining
Nope.
about what's going on and all that. And that's a huge, team thing. And Ryan Smith played good. I think that's, you can expect Katoni and, Connor Fields to get on the board. Hogarth is awesome out there. He gets the goal every game.
Yes.
But that Ryan Smith, he really has to be a big part of the offense, I think, and that's what you see when he's involved too.
Yeah. He that game against Halifax, he started learning his role, and once you learn your role, everything comes easier. And next thing you know, he put in a couple goals, and he's doing this. And he's setting those hard picks like he wasn't in the beginning of the year. So it's kind of scary to think that they're starting to gel again,
Yeah.
which is very hard to do. They gelled hard in the beginning and fell apart, and they learned from their mistakes, and now they're gelling again. I'm like,
Yeah, they didn't criticize each
yeah,
other too bad. I mean, so Georgia's
no,
Georgia still doesn't have a goal, doesn't have a win.
wait, yes,
They're playing
that's
Toronto
that's
again.
mind blowing.
Yeah, and I tell you, when you watch that game last week, that was an amazing game against Toronto. But I mean, again, a little too late. They didn't get going early enough. Nick Rose played good. They ended up pulling Dobson and putting Wendy in, and Wendy played awesome.
Yeah,
So it makes you wonder, what are they going to do this week? Is Wendy going to start the game, or is Wendy gonna, But
about the coach, I go with Dobson again, just because. I mean, he didn't do too bad, but he did bad enough to get pulled. But
yeah,
he's also your franchise goalie, where I don't think Wendy is their franchise goalie. So
definitely a
I
tough
don't know.
decision. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like you
it's
said.
hard.
And that's what you got to think about, though, is are you going to give Dobson another chance, or do you want to? Because at this point, like you said, they're 0-6. They're in all reality, they're probably not making a run at the playoffs, no matter how good
No,
they start to
no.
do. So really, you're just talking about building for the future now. And do you go with
And
Dobson to keep him in there, or do you want to get a win against Toronto, which obviously you want to get a win. But as you see in the East, I think the biggest game really this week is the Wings playing Buffalo, because if
Buffalo,
they
yes.
the Wings have looked really good, and if they can get that win, that kind of knocks Buffalo down a peg, and now Halifax and is tied, or will be tied with Philadelphia, but it gives my Firewolves a chance to still remain for that fourth spot, because there is going to be no fifth guy coming out of the East this year, with the West having all four seeds.
Yeah, so the top two teams are 7-2, 7-2, 7-2, right?
Yeah,
So after that, it's going to be a battle to get that fourth seed. And in reality, the Firewolves are right there. So if the Firewolves win this weekend, Philly loses, and Halifax loses another game. The Firewolves win, they'll be right back in the mix. So
yeah,
I mean, you got you got your three studs in the East. You just got to figure out who that fourth one is going to come in and maybe disrupt everything in the East. You never know. Like I said, if Albany can play like it did last week, the last third and fourth quarter, and do it all through four quarters, they're going to cause trouble.
yeah. Yeah, no, they definitely, and I think more exciting even this year though is the way the West has been shaken out. So you got San Diego sitting at the top with 6-1, and Calgary beat them in the second game. They really won. the second half of the other game too. So I mean, Calgary's looking great, but you've got San Diego playing Saskatchewan tonight, and Saskatchewan
Yep.
kind of needs to make a statement, and they need a win to kind of bump them up. I mean, they're really right now they're ahead of Panther City with win percentage, but it's because they're a game behind them. They haven't, they had the bye week, so I don't know. I think Saskatchewan needs to turn it on here. It's the rest of the season's not going to get any easier. And with the
No.
West, though,
Oh,
I mean, but when you look at the way the rest of that West is broken up, Colorado has not been playing great. The Panther City just beat them. That's a huge game this week for them.
yeah. So with the second, so you got Calgary, so you got San Diego, then you got Calgary, Saskatchewan, Panther City, and Colorado. That's all. So from Calgary to Colorado, that's all one game apart. They're only out of
Yeah,
what place they're in, the second to the fourth or fifth or whatever. So so Colorado takes away a win, and like Calgary loses, and then Saskatchewan loses, and Panther City loses. Next thing you know, Colorado's back up in a second or third, just like that. And I mean, I I'm an East guy. I love the NL East and all that, but right now, the way the West is playing, it won't surprise me they win again the NL championship.
oh yeah, no, they definitely could. The way
Yeah,
they're playing
yeah.
great, and some of those teams are really coming on. But I mean, like I said, the West is this is super exciting this weekend. Saskatchewan, Las Vegas, obviously. I obviously would like the Firewolves to beat them, but I would not be completely surprised to see us. I don't know, unless they figure something out with the defense. Albany's in trouble. Or not
So
the.
I think Albany is going to win against Las Vegas just because they're going to ride off that high of last week. They ended the last two quarters on a high note, and I think they're going to carry it over. And I think that I for you and everybody that watches and NL, Albany's got it this weekend. And I can't hear you.
Oh, there we go. I hope so. I really hope Albany gets it this week. It's gonna be it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I mean, this Colorado Panther City game this weekend is huge for the West because Colorado
Yes,
needs to get it together.
both of them need this win. That's the thing. Both of them need this win. So if Panther City wins, they're going to knock Colorado, I think, back into that little spiral again. And the
Yeah,
thing is with that, I think Panther City's going to win that game.
it seems I don't know the way they've been playing. I'd be more surprised to see Colorado win. They just have not been playing great. Their offense is not getting on the board.
No, they're not. They're like Dylan Ward's letting that last weekend. He let in some outside shots that he's usually key. Like he stops them. He was letting out. He let in a lot of outside shots. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, no, he has, and he did not play great. And when they swapped him out, really, it wasn't any better for them. And we're over halfway through the season now. You're gonna see who can make it the rest of the year. Who physically can. And last year, Colorado, they were able to, and even when they started losing some of their stars down to the end, but they just have not found those guys to step up and score goals. Said Williams is, he can't carry everybody, and it has not been. He'd tell you this has not been his best season.
No, he's. It's almost like he's on a bank burner for some reason. Like he doesn't want to be there. I'm not saying that he doesn't want to be there, but he's not playing like he MVP of the NL Finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's not. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's something with the coaching. They're just seem almost like they're one minded with one person on the offense and just like whatever.
yeah.
I don't
Eli
know.
McLaughlin. I mean, he's playing amazing for them. But like
Yeah.
Zed, I'm looking at his stats right now. He only had one goal with 11 shots, and that's they count on him way too much to be that.
Well, maybe it's his way of saying he don't want to be there no more.
Yeah, I
Could
mean,
be. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, so Eli McLaughlin 4 goals. He took 13 shots. Ty Thompson 1 goal with 7 shots. It's been a it's been I don't know when you're looking at this team and Carlson, he definitely played better than Ward, but you got to believe they're going to go with Dylan Ward again. I don't think just because he had one off night, they're going to pull not start him this week. But
Well, that
maybe
happened at the beginning of the season. He had a one off night in the beginning of the season, and the next week, and he was the starter. And they won. Maybe that's what he needs. It's just like I said, some I'll go. First thing first, goalies are a different breed of human being. First of all,
every one of them.
yeah, every single one. I never met a sane goalie, so they're all sick in the head.
Yeah,
But
you're standing in front of the shot, not closing your eyes.
yeah, whatever. They're disgusting in the head. But he had that bad game, and then came back next week and played outstanding. So maybe this might be his weekend again. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it really was he was very off. He was very very off, and even he every time he scored, he would look right up at the sky like, again another goal. I'm like, Dylan Ward, that's not you. So he wasn't in the right mindset for that game, and it showed. And hopefully, I will say his mind will be right this weekend. So I ain't worried about Dylan Ward.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he'll be coming back too. So you would imagine like this week, Halifax, this is kind of a must win for them against New York if they want to be able to stay up in that top half of it. I mean, Toronto, Georgia played them really good last time, but I would believe that Toronto's going to bounce back. I don't know though. I mean, Georgia, you would just assume with the amount of talent that they've got there that they're gonna win, but I don't know. Wendy did play out of his mind, and if they go with Dobson again, does Dobson have that in him to play that way? Because you don't need a good goalie, you need a great goalie to win in this league.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, right now I think because they haven't won a game yet, Georgia. I think they're going to go with Dobson just to get him the experience for next year, and that's what the GM and whoever runs that team. That's I guarantee this. That's what I would be looking at myself. I'd be like, we ain't doing nothing this year. We suck, but this is our future goalie. Let's get him the reps. So next year, when he comes back into the league after playing summer ball, he's going to be on fire.
Yeah,
That's what I would think. If that happens, we'll see next year. But I think Dobbs is going to get a start. Nothing against Wendy. He's a great goalie.
he
He's
played
been in the
great.
league for yeah, he did really great. And he's just I think I hate to say this about any player, but I think he's peaked already at his goalie experience.
Yeah,
Where I think Dobson, it's his first year in the league.
yeah,
He's learning a lot right now, and he makes really good saves. Dobson does.
yeah,
He makes saves that Wendy don't.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. When I watched it there, you see, you have to check out mine and Coach Jay's breakdown. But I mean,
Yeah,
Nick Rose played good. They weren't quite Georgia. They almost had it right at the end there too. Bad call at the end of the game. Lyle puts it off the post, and
oh, that was so close. I seen
yeah,
that. I was like,
yeah, and then they didn't give him the reset. It's like, what do you mean? Where do you think that bounced off? But whatever. So yeah,
so if you do a quick stick from the right side and it goes behind you, that's a reset. I don't care what. That's automatic reset. I don't know what that ref was looking at. I mean, I guarantee Lyle was.
oh, he was arguing. He turned. You seen even Lyle turn around and was
Yes.
like, what? Because they had it still, and so instead of them having the 10 seconds left with the man up,
Yeah.
they ended up having to they fired a shot and turned the ball over,
Yeah.
and down came the rock, and it really was something. But I tell you, watching that Shane Jackson, that guy can play lacrosse. He is fun to watch.
He showed up this weekend too for when I was
Yeah,
watching that game. His quick stick goals that he had, they're so awkward. They're not fast. He grabs and he like pushes the ball in. So I kind of think that messes up the goalie, and that's exactly what I think it was. Is like his quick sticks were just they're weird.
yeah.
But he for our former MVP, he finally showed up and showed his MVP status this past
Yep.
weekend.
Yeah, he did. And like the way he was moving off ball, you could really see it. Like he set a pick for again for the I don't even remember who it was that scored the I think it was Q scored from the outside, but he set the
Yeah,
pick and he just got cross checked in the face, like just getting raked over and just stood his ground, gave Q the time. Q got a hat trick. He was looking good, which he's a volume shooter as well. He's got to shoot a lot. Him and Lyle, they all both took 11 shots. Um And I don't know, Georgia is just so close all the time, and you wonder who is going to be the one to step it up and play like that. So when you look at the goalie stats too, though, is Wendy had 26 saves, allowed 4 goals, but yeah, that just Dobson, and I mean Dobson will tell you he just wasn't seeing the ball good. It just was not a
Yeah,
good night for him. He's usually a better goalie than that.
but when you got Schreiber and uh, the whole Toronto Rock offense shooting on you, I mean that's hard for anybody because Toronto Rock's offense is
They're nasty.
disgusting.
Yeah.
They're disgusting. It's a like yeah, I could be the best goalie in the world and I would not want that on me.
No.
No. Well, even Schreiber had a left-handed goal. He switched his hand and shot it lefty and picked the corner. I'm like, oh, settle down, Schreiber. Settle down.
I know that was a very American thing to do there. Switch hands at the top. I could hear all the Canadian box players yelling at him.
So American.
But and when you look at Toronto though, they really spread it out. And I tell you, Latrell Harris
They
has
did.
been on fire this year. Their transition is on point, and they really have been going. Steven Keogh, he's one of my favorite players to watch. He's got that hard nose, like I'm a grinder kind of
He's a
guy.
bulldog.
Yeah, I think
He's 100% bulldog.
I was surprised he didn't stay in Halifax, but whatever happened up there.
Yeah.
Um, Toronto, Toronto's looking good. I don't them in Buffalo are going to be tough to beat. I don't know. I really can't wait for the way this kind of keeps playing out. But the I tell you that Rock team is just nasty.
Yeah, so yeah, they're good head to toe. I mean, left to right. Uh, Rose is playing good. I mean, he had a in that Georgia game. There were a couple shots that Lyle shot, but there were awkward shots, and Rose didn't even see them. You can't blame Rose for not seeing him because it's Lyle shooting on you from half court.
Yeah,
But I mean, yeah, they're legit. They're a legit team. Them in Buffalo. That's going to be whoever comes out of the East, Buffalo or Toronto, because that's who it's going to probably going to come down to. You don't know. You don't know who's going to show up. It's going to be who makes the most mistakes is going to come out of the East.
yeah, and
Um,
I see. So what I see putting really Toronto or Buffalo ahead of Rochester is that transition, because Toronto
yes.
has or Rochester has the offense. When you look at their offensive pieces, you can expect at a minimum they're going to get 8, 9 goals a night between their offense. But what's going to give you that 12, 13 goals is you need two or three guys to get up the floor on transition and get it. And I think Toronto's is great, but I think Buffalo's is just a little bit better. The way their defense gets on the board and the way that they can break out because they have so much confidence in Matt Vince. So basically, as soon as the shot goes off, there's always somebody taking off.
Oh, and it's usually Ian McKay for Buffalo. He's
Yeah,
gone. Or like Priolo
that's what I
or
mean. It's like
yeah, they're
everybody on
gone.
Buffalo, and now that you're starting to see that with Toronto, especially Latrell Harris is really his stick has been on fire for transition. He's another one of my guys that I love watching. I really like watching that Toronto team play. That Harris he's a hard nosed player. He's digging, he's getting down there, and to see him, he had a hat trick a couple weeks ago. He had another goal this week. He's been playing great, but I have to give the edge to Buffalo until anybody else can prove, that all their defense can score quite like Buffalo's does.
Yeah, that's the thing with Buffalo. All five of the defense guys can take off and run the ball up. Where Toronto, they got Mitch New, he can do it. Latrell Harris can do it, and then after that, it kind of falls off a little bit. Where the other three or four or five can run transition, but where Buffalo, their whole defense can run transition and put the ball in the net, and it's that's where they separate themselves from everybody else in the East. But once again, once playoff starts, you never know who's going to be that superstar. So, I mean,
That's the thing. It's not about getting hot early. It's who can sustain it, and that's
yeah,
you're seeing with Calgary. So the problem with the like your transition guys always scoring is there's a reason they're not playing offense. I mean, if
yeah, yeah,
eh,
yeah,
I think you said that to me once when you were talking about somebody, and I was like, you know what, you're right. And yes, they are that threat, but if you can keep getting those transition goals, and I mean that's was the only goals Albany was getting. Their offense completely shut down, and like their goals, you had John LaFontaine down there getting them. He's a big
yeah.
D guy. You can definitely count on a couple of their D guys to get like Colton Watkinson's going to get up the board. Tchaikovsky's gotten up the floor pretty good. Jackson Nishimura's been having a pretty good season. Greg Downing, their D's been all right. It's just been, yeah, their offense is just atrocious. I
Yeah,
don't
all
even
these
know.
offense just like stands around. They like make a horseshoe and pass the ball around and take an outside shot and stand there and watch the defense take the other way. It's there's no hustle or I almost want to say no heart in their offense right now.
There, yeah, when you watched the way that third and fourth quarter was played, that's not how, that's what they need. They need that extra
Mm-hmm.
guys getting in. You need to be working for those rebounds up front. Don't just give up immediately off every shot and assume
Yeah,
that you're running off the floor, and really dig it in. And it's I don't know. Without that, I don't have much hope for the future of it. But hopefully I'm wrong and they're going to be able to turn it around here.
they're gonna win tomorrow though, so don't quote me on that one.
All right. So our affiliate Owen happened to get himself plane tickets out to Vancouver, so he is watching that game and going to be reporting to me about that tomorrow because it'll be way past my
Oh,
bedtime by the time
nice.
it's done. Yeah, that kid, and I say kid, he's a grown man, but Owen, he is since I kind of helped him get going on this, man, he really like just ran with it, grabbed the reins and was just like off to the races. There was no stopping him. He started interviewing guys, and oh, there he is. Hey guys, I see him in the chat. I accidentally had the chat down.
Hey Owen,
Hey,
good
Owen.
job. That little spank in the ass got you going.
Now
Good,
he is
good
freaking
job, Owen. Good job.
yeah. So I can't wait to hear from that. And he's got all kinds of interviews. If anybody's watching this, check out Owen's channel because he has more interviews. He's catching up to me. I think he's done actual more NLL players. I probably have more interviews, but he already has probably more NLL players.
We'll work on that. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I'll start throwing Texas out there to these NL players because I know a lot of them too. But
there we go.
Owen, settle down. Owen, settle down. No, just kidding.
So Calgary, Vancouver. I think we can both agree Calgary's probably going to walk away with that one.
Not by a lot. They'll win, but they'll win by. It's going to be. I'll say it's going to be like. I think it's going to be like 13-10 Calgary.
13-10 Calgary.
Yep.
Yeah, Owen's in the chat saying he hopes so too. And Saskatchewan, San Diego, do you think Saskatchewan's going to be able to step up? They're going to get some of those young guys, or is it going to be the church show again and nobody else is going to want to play?
It's going to be the church show, and I think San Diego is just going to mop them up.
Yeah, uh, that is San Diego's got a lot of offense.
That's what I'm just going to say is like San Diego's offense is just ridiculous. I mean, you got 8 guys that can go out there and score at will.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
they would be the top goal scorer on pretty much any team you put those guys on. It's insane.
the only thing that bothers me about San Diego is their goalie play.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, you never know. But
Yeah.
that's what you need going down the stretch too, more than anything. So,
Yes.
and then Georgia, Toronto. I don't know if Georgia played that game really close the last time. I think Toronto's going to come up a little upset with the way their offense played.
Play. So I think Georgia's okay with how they played against Toronto, and Toronto's going to be mad that they let Georgia get back in. And I think Toronto's going to come out and just bury them.
I can agree with that.
Yep.
That's and then we've got Las Vegas, Albany. We're going to say
Albany by 4.
Albany by 4. Wow. So you're saying the offense really lights up?
I think Albany's offense a little kick in their ass from the last 2 periods they played last week, and it carries over this week. Where Las Vegas, yeah, they got the dub, but I think they're going to be too high on themselves, and I think Albany's going to be more level-headed than Las Vegas. So I got Albany by 4.
All right. I pictured it being a one goal game, but I'm gonna go with Albany as well, obviously. And then this is
Obviously,
probably the game of the week, is I would have to say Philadelphia Buffalo. I think as far especially in the East, this is the game of the week in the East, and
yes.
maybe Colorado Panther City in the West. But yeah, this Philadelphia Buffalo game that you're going to, this will be a real test to see if Philadelphia is really pulling it together or if it's just been kind of a fluke for the last couple weeks.
So I'm going to go with Buffalo just because I'll be there, and I don't want no one to hate us and unsubscribe to us. because honestly, the Wings are playing. Their offense is clicking hard right now. Um, but once again, it's Buffalo's defense and transition game that sets itself apart from other teams. Matty Vince is doing good. I mean, this is gonna. I think this might be a 1 goal game
Ooh, I think if
in
yeah,
in Buffalo's favor though.
yeah, I like we talked about with the transition guys. Although Baptiste, man, if he can keep getting up the he's been getting up the floor quite a bit.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he can win the faceoffs, and but he can't. Buffalo's faceoff guy, he's good too. Like he can tie him up. So
Yeah,
I
they
think it's gonna be more 50-50 faceoffs here
yeah,
than we think it should be.
absolutely. Well, he's definitely not going to be running away with them like he has on some of the other teams. And then you got Colorado playing Panther City. This is a huge game for the West. For
Yeah,
that, you know, is Colorado going to start? We're over halfway through the season now, so Colorado kind of has to start making their move, you would think, but it's not completely over yet. But Panther City has been looking good, man. They're swinging.
so with this one, this is a hard one. I will honestly say this. I've been thinking about this one. As much as I want Panther City to win this game, I think Colorado's gonna have this one.
Aha. I'm actually
Yeah,
going to go with Panther City. I think the Malcolm brothers are going to run the show down there, and Greer, and I don't know. I like watching
yeah.
that Panther City team. I'm thinking they might have it, unless, like you said, Colorado steps it up. But and then
I
Halifax versus the Riptide. Halifax, this really, you know, you would think Halifax has got this win. New York just won last week against Albany, but they didn't
yeah,
play very good at the end. I just think that Halifax, I don't know, they will figure out Jeff Teat better than Albany did in the first half.
yeah. The thing with like Halifax, they got a better defense than most teams. I mean, you got a cyborg out there. You got Tyson Bell. You got everybody else. And
Yeah,
like
Graham
Jeff T,
Hosick,
I
Tyson
don't
Bell,
know,
that whole
Graham
defense.
Hofflick, yeah. Of Hill's on his game, I don't care what goal you are. If you're in a game, Jeff T's going to score on you. Jeff T's going to get his 3-4 goals. They just need to contain him and make sure nobody else scores. I think that's all he can. All he can do is contain Jeff T and make sure nobody else on the team scores. So, but I think Halifax is going to win this. No, Halifax is going to win this game, and not going to be a blowout, but they're going to win by like 6 or 7 goals. I think.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I don't I don't know because I really Halifax is not played quite what they're thinking they should be, I would imagine. I hope they're going to come out with some fire and try to show it on the New York boys.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like Halifax is kind of coasting right now.
yeah,
Yeah, they're playing lacrosse, but when they want to step it up, they can play great. And I think this game they're going to come out and just they're going to be on fire. They're going to light it up real quick. I think New York will have a little bit of a comeback in the third, but then Halifax will just run away with it.
yeah, I would have to say you're probably right on that. I mean, Cody Jameson turned it on towards the end of that game. He's still looking good and young. We forgot
Yeah.
to change the bio. Oh man, so I never changed the settings because it froze up and I had to restart. So it says that this is me and OJ the dude on here talking instead of me and you.
I'll take that. That's okay.
That's true.
Everybody knows who I am, anyways. This beautiful face, people see it, they're like, "Oh, that's Hot Rod."
That's the hot rod. That's awesome. Well, we had it right the first time until the computer decided to crash.
Yeah, that's that type of week it is.
It is. But
Yeah,
let's all right, so we covered all the games. Oh, and thanks so
yeah,
much for joining us. Enjoy the game tonight, and I will probably be talking to you at some point Monday morning. Or not Monday. Monday, it's like daytime for him still. It's like 6 o'clock, but it's
yeah,
8:30 here, and I'm done. I'm like, man, he's just getting started.
yep,
But all right, Rodney, I think we've covered everything this week until next week, and we'll be in touch. Thanks everybody for
yep.
watching.
Thank you, everybody. Keep watching. Tell your friends. Everybody watch this. And we know it's a shit show half the time, but we love it.
Absolutely. And we just need to
Yep,
get everybody in there in the chat with
yep.
OJ and get us going.